Did you audition for Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got down to, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I got far with all of those ones.
How is it? I mean, that must have been like, that changes your life.
Yeah, it does. And those were the letdowns, and as the years go on, you learn to not be, you have to let it go. But
what's the bounce back from that? You're like, I almost had Lord of the Rings. And then,
yeah, it's hard. And especially someone, in my 20s, I wanted to be a huge movie star.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Gray Area Podcast. I am your host, Maximilian Decker, where we cover everything gray in career and life. And today, my guest is no other than Ian Duncan, who has played John the Disciple on the miniseries on NBC. He's also played Brutus on Caesar in a miniseries. Guys, it's Ian Duncan. Ian.
Thanks for having me.
There's a roar of crowd.
Yeah, you can add that in post.
I don't think we can, but I'm going to definitely put it. Welcome.
Thanks, bud.
Talk to me.
Well, what do you want to know?
I mean, I feel bad for people that are coming up in the business and they're trained a certain way. Like you're trained, like, when I work with actors, that's like, learn your fucking lines. Like that's your job.
That's number one.
and then you show up on a set and number one on the call sheet makes it seem like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say, be careful for wanting to meet your heroes because you might actually be let down.
Yeah.
So
by the way, that hasn't happened to me. The heroes I have met have all been awesome.
No, but I'm talking about the ladder. I'm talking about the ladder, not that.
No, you lose respect, and it's not. I just don't get it. It's like you're getting paid to be here. It is what you want to do, and at least learn your lines. It's like you can't just wing it on the day. I mean, obviously some people can, but we always learned that in drama school: learn your lines and don't bump into the furniture. Those were the two things we were told.
I have a feeling they really told you not to bump into the furniture.
Yeah.
You went to Bristol.
Yeah.
This is like the greatest act. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis went to Bristol. If you guys don't know, for those of you that don't know that, but how was the process of getting accepted to Bristol?
It was big. So I was
for it, right?
I was a pretty successful actor in Cape Town in South Africa, and I'd sort of hit a ceiling very quickly by the time I was sort of 20.
So you're a big deal in Cape Town?
I was. I mean, I don't think anymore, but
like
sometimes when I go back.
Yeah.
But I did well, and I got to a stage, but I was more ambitious than what Cape Town had to offer, and it broke my heart leaving. I mean, my heart's still in South Africa. I love that place so much, but I was more ambitious, and it just worked out that I was my girlfriend at the time was a ballerina from England, and she wanted to go back home and dance there, and so it just felt like the perfect time to go and hone my craft and to sort of just become better. And so I auditioned at RADA and all the big ones, and I got into all of them. Just I was saying to you earlier that I did have this confidence and arrogance. Is like I'm going to get in. It's not a problem. It's just and then I was told while I was there, like, have you tried looking at Bristol? And I was like, Bristol Old Vic? Yeah, but it's outside of London. But then I went to visit it and I auditioned, and I was like, if I get in here, this is where I want to be.
What was it about that? What was it about that?
They only accept 12 people a year, so it's very small. It's become bigger now over the years, but when I went, it was 12 people.
But so doesn't that kind of go against, because some people say you should jump around to each acting school and get a piece of it. So staying at the same school for
No, I mean, if you get accepted, you stay at the same school, whether it's RADA or not, but it's... I just liked it because it was a university town. I never quite settled into London. Just, basic stuff like getting on the tube every day and going here and there. It's just so vast. But Bristol was a university town, and it just had a good vibe. The teachers were phenomenal. You look at who went there. I mentioned Daniel Day-Lewis. My roommate was Olivia Colman, who
won the Academy Award.
Yeah, and we're still fantastic friends. And she, by the way, hasn't changed one bit, not one bit. She's just awesome. Her and her husband, the three of us live together, and just great friends. But it was just the whole feel of it, and these teachers were so they had been there for years and years, and Daniel Day-Lewis used to come. Like, we'd be sword fighting in the car park.
What's that like, Daniel Day-Lewis coming to your school?
Well, initially we were like, who's this guy like interrupting our fight class here on a motorbike, just like driving right in between? And then he just yanked off the helmet and he sort of the hair, it's like I think
Last of the Mohicans.
He just done Last of the Mohicans or something like that, and
freedom.
And all the girls were swooning, and the guys were. I mean, our jaws dropped as well, because he was and still is my favorite actor of all time. But he kept this close relationship with all the teachers and staff there, which I think it's just different. I still do as well. The staff members that are still there, even though I've been gone for 20 plus years. There's a community, and I feel like our class was very special because there's a lot of competition within classes, and
just in acting in general.
Yeah, but it's also like, he got the lead in this play, and the girls are a little more competitive within themselves as well, right, amongst themselves. But our class just wasn't, and so we had such a great time. We might have taken the piss a little too much, but we were also younger, so there was times that we were like, let's just go out rather and go and have a few beers.
But is the culture different? Would you say, because you've been here in the States for how many years now?
I think it's pushing 18.
So what's your experience like dealing with, like, here you are, a great culture, Bristol, the greats, 12 students, 2 years, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
3 years together. And then the culture out here in the States is like, here in LA, from what I know, is like, go to this coach, go to that coach.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why that there's just not a consistency with American actors? I mean, there is Juilliard and Yale and stuff, but still, when you get to LA, you still continue studying.
Yeah.
But what do you think it is that seems to be so?
I mean, I think
flaky.
Yeah,
really.
The studying is a big part, and I think you being in LA, you realize so many people just get off the boat and it's like, I'm going to be an actor,
right,
and haven't had any of that training. And, that's there might be 1% of those that are brilliant and do become successful.
Right.
But I think having the training, which is what I always wanted, it's just, that is the difference in the culture, is that we, 3 years of being with the same group, it's like repertory theater.
Yeah.
You learn how to hone your craft and learn the discipline. Whereas I think, as a young kid just arriving in LA, they don't have that discipline and don't necessarily know the right way to do, auditions, learn lines, all that kind of stuff.
It seems you guys are a little bit more embedded, like say like Juilliard, Carnegie Mellon. I mean, those are conservatories out here too. But it just seems like Bristol and RADA, just I don't know, maybe the actors, maybe the teachers were working actors opposed to like not having that.
Yeah,
like,
I think they were all
like the teachers out
initially.
The teachers in Yale, they weren't that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, there could be a lot to do with that as well. I think also they concentrate a lot more on classical, which I feel it's almost like, I think if you're a ballerina, for instance, if you can do ballet, you can pretty much go out and do any other form of dance. You would be able to pick that up quite quickly.
Can you imagine in class it would have been like, hey, we're doing on camera and you're doing training day?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's the one thing, and I think they've changed that. It was one thing that we did wish that we did a little more was TV, and
right.
They did touch on that, but we did radio plays and that kind of stuff, but it was very much sort of classical theater.
Foundation.
We did some comedies and all this, but I think now the way the world has gone, and they're doing motion capture now. This is all stuff that would have been nice to actually done a little more of. I mean, don't get me wrong, the training was amazing, but I felt like we weren't prepared enough. So when I auditioned for a bunch of stuff while I was at drama school, because I was lucky enough to already have an agent, so I would travel from Bristol to London.
So you'd be auditioning while you were in school?
I was very lucky to. And
is that how you booked John the Disciple?
Yeah, so I did the Jesus miniseries, and it was I was about to go into my final term of the third year, which I was kind of dreading because there's so much pressure, because you have to come up with a showcase, and that's where all the agents and managers come to. You perform it on stage in London. And there's so much pressure, and you only get 1 minute. So after 3 years, you get 1 minute to show your stuff.
Wow.
You get up, you do a monologue or whatever it is. You get 1 minute.
Wow.
And that can decide your future. So I was dreading that because I was like, I don't know what piece I want to do. Is it comedy?
While they're signing people off of movies.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to I got to audition for a lot of big stuff actually, and I was always I got known as down to the last two Dunk, because Duncan's my last name, and I would always get down to the last two, and it became more consistent as I got older against bloody Orlando Bloom. I was always between him and me for those big ones.
I mean, Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
And so,
but
Emma,
just to back to what I was saying is that I did audition for that going into my final term.
Oh wait, so did you audition for Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got down to Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like I got far with all of those ones.
How is it? I mean, that must have been like, that changes your life.
Yeah, it does. And those were the letdowns, And as the years go on, you learn to not be, you have to let it go. But
what's the bounce back from that? You're like, I almost had Lord of the Rings, and then
yeah, it's hard, and especially someone, in my 20s, I wanted to be a huge movie star, and you do. I think that's what you aspire to at that age.
Yeah.
But it's hard. But then you have some good fortune as well. They might not be as big of projects, but just being on set for me, I just love so much.
You were sponsored by Emma Thompson.
At drama school. So again, this was down to the confidence. You audition and it's not cheap. It's like tens of thousands of pounds.
What's the equivalent of today? Like how?
I mean, it's like spending $50,000 to $60,000.
Wow.
it's
and you're like 20.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's part of the thing. So you're like, okay, you've been accepted. Are you able to pay? And you're like, yeah, of course I can pay. Why would I audition if I couldn't pay? I mean, I didn't have £5 in my pocket at the time.
Wow.
But I had no doubt that I would get it. I just didn't. And so what happened was I saw what most people were doing, and they were writing out a letter and then just making 100 photocopies of that and just blasting them out. Nothing personal in those letters at all. To as many famous people as they could, asking for money to sponsor them. So I was like, wouldn't it make more sense to get to write a handwritten personal letter and just make it a little funny, and so I managed to get, I think, 5 names. I got Emma Thompson, I got Alan Rickman, Tom Stoppard, playwright, and Ken Follett, the huge author, and all of his stuff gets adapted for screen. And I wrote those 4 a letter and made it jokey, like, I'm struggling here, I'm surviving on 2 slices of toast a day, and just whatever. I made it more personal and more funny. And within a week I got a letter back from Emma Thompson. She's like, yes, I'd like to sponsor you. I got one back from Tom Stoppard. He sponsored me. Ken Follett was huge. He basically sorted me out for the 3 years. Like, he was the big sponsor, which I'll be forever grateful. And then I didn't hear back from Alan Rickman, but I met him at a party in London. Literally a few weeks later. It was quite serendipitous, and I went up to him and I was like, "Hi, Alan. I'm Ian. I just want to say I'm a huge fan." And I said, "I do have a bone to pick with you."
Wow,
and,
you were a ballsy fucker, weren't
totally.
you? Wow,
I could tell he was like a cool guy. I didn't mean it in a mean way or anything. And he was like, "Oh, really?" In his great voice. And I said, "Yeah, I wrote you this letter a little while back, and asking for a little bit of money for Bristol Old Vic." And I remember I had a line in there saying, I'm eating Marmite on toast. I don't know if you know Marmite. It's like a British.
No.
It's like Vegemite from Australia. It's a thing that you put on toast. Anyway, I said, yeah, I was living on Marmite and toast. He's like, "You're the Marmite guy." And I was like, yeah. He's like, "I remember getting that letter." He's like, "I didn't send you any money." I was like, "You didn't, Alan." And by the way, we ended up there were so many well-known people at this party. He could have spoken to anyone. We
Right.
chatted for 4 or 5 hours. And I was like,
Yeah.
this guy's a legend, an
Yeah.
absolute legend. And so I got back to drama school and I remembered that I still had his address. So I wrote back to him. I said, hey, remember we chatted? I was like, how about now? Now's a second chance.
Wow.
Sure enough.
Look at you shooting your shot
Yeah.
after you get, but I mean, you kind of like, you have that confidence.
But I
just-
think a lot of people do at that age, right? And
Right.
and there was,
think
if
you
you
need
doubt
that.
if you
You
doubt
need
yourself
that.
a little bit, then and I wish it's consistent. As if you get a few knocks down the line,
Right.
which I definitely had, you lose a lot of that confidence.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the gray area just in acting.
Yeah.
What is it? What's been your experience in the gray area that like people don't talk about, that people don't know that
The business side of it, and
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that, and that's something I wish we'd been taught.
right.
Coming into the business side of it, and also I didn't love seeing behind the scenes of how the industry works.
Expand on that. What do you mean?
Well, there's less of that in England. That might have changed now. So I was a professional actor there for a good few years and booking these lovely jobs, but you'd never really see behind the curtain of how it all comes together and the
Right.
bullshit and this. And then I got to LA and it's like, there's a lot of bullshit in this industry.
right. Just
And-
people bullshitting each other, or just people dealing with like just
Well, just not
scummy shit.
Just this truth,
Yeah,
and even with
yeah.
agents and managers, and that's what I started getting disillusioned with the whole, because I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted to do my stuff and
Right.
and listen, I'm no Daniel Day-Lewis, I'm no Anthony Hopkins. My dream has to always been to create and work with friends and
Right.
to have a good time,
Right.
take it seriously, but enjoy it. Like, I'm not a method actor, but what a great career, what a great job to be able to work
Yeah,
with
no, it's
mates.
cool. It
Even
really
doing
is
what we're
cool.
doing,
Yeah,
like
what
we
we're
know
doing.
each other.
Yeah, we
This
know
is
each other.
fun. Like this
Yeah.
is that's always been my dream. You get paid to work with friends and to have a good time. You go on locations. But when I got here, I was like, wow, they're pumping me up here. Like,
Yeah,
I've got this.
gassing
I'm
you
with
up.
Gersh right now. I'm going up
Right.
for lead roles in the
Right.
biggest movies. This is.
But do you think it's because it's already promised? Do you think that there is this elite group? I know myself in the journey, and it seems like a lot of people say, "Oh, there's elite, there's these elites, and they all band together." Or do you think it's just kind of, I don't know, like just half baked? Everything is just half baked, and they kind
Yeah.
of throw it together at the last minute
Yeah,
with like pseudo names and stuff like that.
I don't know. I just think there's so much bullshit in this industry, which and the older I got, that's why I've stepped away from the acting just for a little. I mean, yeah, I'm still doing the computer game, but I wanted to create stuff and be in control for a
Right.
moment, and that to me at this stage of my life is way sexier.
But it
And-
seems that being in control, sometimes you can still deal with bullshit, though.
Yeah, but you can deal with it and be in control of it, and you can call it out.
Right.
I've gotten to a stage now where I will call it out when in your 20s and 30s you don't want to rock the boat.
Maybe
and you'll
look the other way or something.
Yeah,
like that.
but now
Yeah.
it's like, well, just be honest. And that's what the problem I had with managers and agents. Like, you say, just don't bullshit. Just be honest with me. Like,
Right.
did they say I was shit in the room? Because it's not going to hurt my feelings. I need to know what to work on. So don't come and say, yeah, you were great and they loved you, but
Right.
it's gone another way.
Right.
That seems to be the script that everyone always says.
Tell me what to work
Yeah,
on so I can do
exactly.
it, so I cannot
Yeah.
keep on seeing
And
this trajectory
anytime
of
I
life.
signed with an agent or manager, that was my stipulation. I was like, this is how I work. I will never be offended. You can tell me that this director thought you were utter shit, and this is why.
Right.
You need to work on your accent. You weren't there today. You did not arrive. You were not in character. Like, tell me that.
Right.
Don't tell me that I was fantastic and that, they were so close to taking you, but then they went another way. You were 2 years too old, 2 years too young.
Yeah, say
too
that.
good looking.
Like, say
too,
exactly what's going on. Don't
it's
like
just-
gas me up.
Yeah. So
Right.
that was the stuff that started. I started getting disillusioned, and even auditions.
Or
and
how about you didn't say the lines that were written in the
Yeah.
audition that
Yeah.
cost you the fucking job?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the honesty, and that was the kind of stuff that I wish that it is delicate. There's a lot of ego, and I think that's why people might take it. For me personally, that's how I work. That doesn't mean that's how other people work. People don't necessarily like to be told that you were shit on the day. They might, that ego steps in. But I got to a stage where it's like, I want to know what I need to work on.
So we touched on you being South African, right? I mean, what's that like? you said you were kind of you hit a ceiling in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then you just had to go find
it was the right timing. You know, I was.
And so you're African.
I am. I'm South African. Yeah, but yeah.
Well, it's confusing. Sometimes people are like, "What?" Like, you know.
Yeah, I get all sorts here. I mean, I'm mostly, I say, are you Australian? Are you from England? Or,
yeah, because the accent's really
and I've lived in
all over the place.
And all of them. You know, America, it's New Zealand, South Africa, and England. So I know my accent is a little all over the place. It's kind of it's hard to tell.
Can you impersonate an American? Impersonate me. Like, go ahead and try to say something.
To do your voice?
Do my voice. Yeah, do me.
Give me a word. Just don't say murderer. That's the hard
one.
Murderer
jumped hurdle.
You asshole. The murderer. The murderer jumped over the hurdler.
I think I can understand why some things didn't go your way. Just
exactly.
Maybe I had murder in there.
But it's
a
easy. You just changed murderer to killer.
Definitely not doing murders in the building. Yeah. That's for sure.
You say killer in the building. Yeah, there's words. But the one thing also I wish that I'd done more. So I arrived in LA in my late 20s, and I had a crew here already because the shows that I was doing, the miniseries, I had a bunch of American actors, and we became great mates. So I didn't arrive in LA like not knowing anyone. I had my crew,
right?
And it was just like, we're going to these Hollywood parties. I'm meeting this and this. I'm single. It was like exactly how you imagine.
This is what we need to be talking about right here,
right?
The '90s and Hollywood parties.
Absolutely, I was at that age, and it blew my mind. I'm this guy from little old South Africa.
So wait, did you ever audition against? We both have a mutual friend, Eric Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Did you ever audition against Eric?
No, but he was part of the crew.
He was part of your crew.
Yeah, I've known him for years.
Now this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Why things were just a little hard on you guys, because it seems like you guys were the terror of the towns.
Listen, I did it in a nice way, but I was at that stage where I did want to party. I was like, I've arrived in LA, you know, and it's just part of the whole thing. So I was going out a lot, and my friends, we were in our 20s, man. So and if I'd look back on it, you know, because I said to you, I was down to the last two dunk on all these huge projects. I feel like if I could go back and arrive now, knowing what happened, I should have come over and consistently carried on with classes and consistently carried on with accents and fucking worked out.
Yeah.
You know, I was in fine shape, but not by doing it. We played volleyball, we played lots of sports, but I should have gotten into shape, but it was just different focuses there. Right. I was trying to do the same.
If you would have had the right agent say, hey, listen, get your ass back in fucking class.
Yeah.
Get in the fucking gym.
Yeah.
And I need you doing this.
But mind you, I'd come out of 3 years of drama school, and I was doing back-to-back. So I was working.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. Even when you're working, you should be doing classes.
Right.
You should be. And I had that thing where
I mean, Leo works out with Larry Moss. I mean, Larry Moss always gets him ready.
Absolutely.
From what I understand.
And it's you know, it's a muscle. You go same with singing. You know, and I grew up doing musical theater. That was something I also regret, because I wanted to be a serious actor, and I sort of gave up the singing part of my life, which was silly, because that's also
no shit.
Yeah,
Ian Duncan is a musical singer.
I did musical theater.
What's the musical?
I mean, I did a bunch. JC Superstar.
Ooh.
Mame. I did.
Let it out. Belt it out. Belt me a chorus. Let's go.
I'll blow the mic.
All right.
No, it's
What do you think is the difference between South African and American? Like, what do you
in the industry?
Yeah, in the industry.
I mean, there's a lot more money here. You know. The thing with South Africa that's happened since I've been gone is that a lot of American projects shoot there now, because we have every location, and you can match it up to California.
I mean, LA's really dropped the ball in letting a lot of productions leave to all over. It's a global market. I mean, I don't understand. Atlanta, get a tax break. Canada, New Jersey,
England,
Detroit, New England.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like people are pinpoint LA, but yeah, there is a lot of productions that started here, but it feels like more of a global.
Totally.
Because you're going to Korea. Where are you going to?
Well, our show is set in South Korea. So, yeah, we would be between Boston and South Korea if and when it all happens.
Why do you think that LA's dropping the ball and kind of like just letting it all
incentives, leave? You know.
They just don't care anymore?
No, I don't think it's that they don't care. I just think... I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think, yeah, if you've got a certain budget, you want to go where the incentives are.
Right, of course.
You know, but South Africa, they have the climate, you know, so, and that's why, but the sad thing is, you know, and I always look at IMDb when I know that there's a big American production shooting in South Africa. You know, like even like the earlier movies like Blood Diamond with Leo, that was shot in a large part in Cape Town. So all those big productions will go, but the poor South African actors will only get little bits, like a one-liner here or two, and I find that kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's like, you're coming over here, like, can we be a bigger part of it? South African crews are meant to be some of the best in the world, hardest working. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover now with South Africa and America. And other countries. It's interesting though. I can always tell when it's Cape Town, and it's a weird thing. It's the rock formation on the mountain. It's different to California.
Oh, interesting.
So I will see it and I'll be like, it's set in California, but that's definitely Cape Town.
So you can call it out.
100%. And it can be the smallest thing. And then I'll look up at like, yep, shot in Cape Town.
So talk to me a little bit more about being from from South Africa, because I'm pretty sure you've confused some people where they're like, you're from Africa, no way.
Yeah. Especially here.
What, they can't tell the difference, or like they're like, you're not black.
Yeah, no, it's that's you know, just education. But I'm also telling you,
because that's just people.
Well,
just don't
I'm
get
having to explain. Listen, this is very only because I've had this conversation.
It is a delicate. It is a delicate conversation.
South Africa, where is that? And I'm like, South Africa. And I've even
here's Africa.
Yeah, south.
You go south. That's south. That's where he's from.
No,
right?
but I'm not kidding. There's been, you know, and I indulge in it because I find it funny. But it's like,
so I mean,
you are South Africa.
You are American now, so you're African American now. Yeah. You're South African American.
Exactly. No, I've mentioned South Africa before, and they're like, "Oh, Australia." I'm like, no, it's in the name. And listen, that I'm only saying that because it's happened.
Is it that, or is it just common sense isn't common? You know, like there's a lack of common sense maybe in
I'm talking very generally. I'm only saying it because I've had a couple of conversations like that. I'm not saying
maybe it's like fluoride in the toothpaste. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I indulge in it though, and I go no, Australia, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, it's you can have some fun with that.
Okay, and so I guess what are some of your hobbies that you've got kind of from there? Like, you know, I guess what are your hobbies?
From South Africa?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
no, not South Africa, just in general. Like you, Ian Duncan.
I love sports.
What sports? Like rugby?
Yeah, we're the world champions.
Really?
Rugby World Cup. Yeah,
I didn't.
It's a religion.
I'm so lack of.
Yeah, no. For us, I'll get up at any time of day, and in fact, the last World Cup, the games were 2 a.m., so I'd set my alarm. It's a huge part of our culture. It's in our blood. So, yeah, right. And we just won in October.
Did you ever play rugby?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was fast. So but then it got to a stage where I was 13, and suddenly everyone
was bigger than you.
They were like, "Hey, wait, you're shaving now. You've got a beard." It's like, what's happened here? And suddenly they're hitting 6 foot, and I was called Mouse until I was like,
oh, geez.
That was my nickname until I was like 14, and then I started growing.
So the dream was to be a rugby player or an actor.
I was a good rugby player, but that was never my dream. I was always getting a knee in the face was never fun when you're tackling. You know, I was like, not the face. But
well, I mean, what about soccer? Was that kind of your thing?
No, soccer's big there, but cricket and rugby are the two sports. I like sports that. I like all sports, but I like sports that flow. So I always found it difficult to get into American football since it stops every 10 seconds. Look, I'll watch the Super Bowl. I'll watch the games. I like basketball because it keeps going.
Right.
But I like to watch 80 minutes of nonstop sports.
So you want the continuous action.
Yeah.
It's almost like...
I don't want it interrupted by advertising. Like, oh, now we're going to cut to 3 minutes of, you know, and I know that's what pays for the...
Sounds like a TikTok.
Yeah. It's like...
Have you ever thought about being an influencer and doing TikTok and doing like, you know, TikTok sketches and stuff like that?
No.
But how do you feel about that? Because a lot of actors now, they're getting pushed to do that. They're saying, "Hey, listen, 100%. We're discovering new actors on social media.
I can't.
We want to put them in movies."
You know, I'm at the end.
So you don't think it transitions?
I'm at that in between age where I was there before it all, and now we're right in the middle of it all.
Right,
I was there before cell phones, and now cell phones, and I'm more old school. I wish we could still do without cell phones. I really do.
Right.
Like I hate.
But that's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
You know?
But that's where I am. I'm like, God, I wish my kids could know what it's like just to not have that and to stick to plans, and that, if you're not.
I mean, but you're on the forefront of all this, so you know the technology that's about to come to take out.
It's terrifying.
Do you think that a lot of this technology is going to take out a lot of our jobs?
Of course.
Wow.
But not just in our industry, in every industry. You know, I went to a big meet. It was the end of last year, and it was with the top AI guys in the industry right now. And his name was also Ian, actually, really good guy. And all Ians are good guys. I just said to him, dude, what's your take on where it's going? And he also, I think he had an 11-year-old son. He said everyone of this age now will have a job within AI in some respect. So like my daughter who's 8, my son who's 3, there will be something to do. It will be something to do with AI in some respect. And
what happens to that middle gap?
We're gonna see. You know, it's like it's terrifying.
Do you think that's why they're trying to like push the universal income onto working it out somehow? Because maybe the generation of income from AI that takes the load and you know.
Yeah, we're heading into unknown territory right now, and it is terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, it's terrifying when you hear 2 of the 3 godfathers saying that they wish that they hadn't put it out there into the.
Well, I mean, you
without
you think it's terrifying when they were talking about sacrificing a red heifer, and then you know the collapse of, I think, the mosque in Israel, right?
Yeah,
and then it's going to create this religious war. It's just like, that sounds like
it is terrifying. It's I just like I said, regulation. It should have been regulated way more than it has already, because we are heading into the wild, wild west. You know, sounds
like we're in World War III.
Yeah, I just think as humans we've digressed.
But do you think that there might be a chance that there's something more working in your favor than just, you know, chance?
I mean, there's a lot of luck involved in whether you're a writer or an actor. You know, you can be the best actor. There's got to be some luck involved as well.
What do you pass your time doing?
Well,
besides the writing,
I mean, that's taking up a lot. You know, just because of where we're at, we've had to do some rewrites. We're busy doing all the episode breakdowns. So, you know, being a dad is obviously my passion. I just love it so much. So my time is filled with being a dad and writing right now. And I love it. You know,
but you have 2 children.
2, yes. 3, and she turns 8 next week. So it's been amazing. You know what it's like having kids. It's all consuming. It's exhausting.
My children are older, and they don't. You know, they've never listened. But
they're listening.
They'll listen to other people.
Yeah.
But they won't listen to you.
Yeah. No, they're very good listeners at school. Like they absolutely, but they come home and then they're hooligans. But I love it. But just hustling, man, and just I think once this happens, and I know it will, I'm very, very confident it's going to be life-changing for me. Right. And how awesome at my age, you know, hitting 50, that you can still go a different way. You know, and
for it's like you reinvented yourself.
Totally. And there's no way I could look. I will do any job I like to hustle. Having to make money, whatever. And I'm never too proud to do anything. But as long as I'm still creative and doing what I want, and this will be life changing for me, because to create something that's yours and to see it blossom and to make it onto the screen, like what a cool thing. And that's my main focus, you know, other than family and kids, is to get this done and to see how this next journey goes.
But that's really admiring that you do that and you go for that, because some people play it safe their whole life.
Yeah.
And you've really had this, you know, you're this kid out of Cape Town. Mm-hmm. You go to a drama school, the best in the world. You worked already at a young age.
Yeah.
Now you work with these names, these Academy Award winners.
Yeah.
And and then
But you're talking about the rockiness. Like my 20s, I was on this trajectory of I was on my way to becoming.
Yeah, you're like the it
yeah,
kid. You should have been in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, but I can tell you 20 projects that were huge, and there was a reason, and I felt like, why did I slip through the cracks? But I'm also like, that's the wrong thing to say, because I was very spiritual when I was younger, and I'm becoming more spiritual again. I'm sad that I lost.
But what does that mean, spiritual? Like,
just like
spiritual?
You
believe in God, or is it just like
no? I mean, I have beliefs, but I keep it very much to myself. Like I'm definitely not a religious person, but that doesn't mean I don't believe. Like I have my beliefs, but as far as just knowing that there's more than what's happening in front of us and on this earth, I feel like there's a lot more, and to be in touch.
Do you think that there's a battle on this earth between good and evil?
Yeah, I think evil's winning.
How so?
I mean, look at where we are right now, just everywhere, all around the world. It feels so. I mean, just all the wars and what humans are doing.
Yeah, but that was happening in the 60s. That was happening in the 20s.
I know, in a different way, though. Like we're next level now.
Do you think it's just more like we see it more because it's on our phone?
I think that to some, of course, it's in our face a lot more. But no, I mean, what's happening and what people are doing to each other I think has gotten a lot worse. But I have that positive feeling that we are hopefully going to overcome this, and that maybe that's part of the digression of being human, is to find ourselves again and to be like, oh shit, we've all lost ourselves here. But being in touch with that spiritual journey, and I was talking to what does he do? I mean, he's an intuitive, but he's also very spiritual, and I absolutely love him. And we were talking about that, and I mentioned those very words. I said, I felt like I slipped through the cracks. And he said, listen, you have sentient beings look after you, and he's like, give me a moment. And he literally went into it, and he took a moment, and he's like, they're laughing right now. And you've got they're twins, which makes it even stronger. Right. And I was kind of like, what? And I was like, this is actually kind of cool. I like hearing this kind of stuff. And he said that they're laughing because if you had hit that in your 30s, you'd probably not be here anymore. And I was like, wow, and I'm like, he could be right, because I could have partied too much, and that might have just been it. Who knows? Right. Or I could have been whatever, driving and drunk and hit, whatever.
I mean, listen, the stories that are coming out now, the parties that had happened, and we're hearing a lot of stuff in the news where people have been going to start parties and getting drugged. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, an overdose. Yeah. And, that's heavy in our business. Yeah. And
he said, he's like, look, you've had to go through these times in order to get to where you are now, and now it is switching for you. And he's the one that's saying it to me.
I think he's being nice and saying being more mature.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that aside, he's like, from what you've gotten to has gotten you to this point of this creating your own work, and he's like, but also you've got these beautiful kids, which you wouldn't necessarily have had.
What you're going to feel now is everybody's going to want a piece of you. Because look, I feel that, and I kind of overextend myself sometimes. Yeah. And it's just like that feeling of like, they just want, and it's what's inside of you that they want a piece of. Yeah. Because it's what makes you great. I like what Timothy Chalamet said. He said, when you realize that the universe, you are happening to the universe, and it's coming through you to happen to people. Yeah. He's like, that's when you understand how it works. Yeah. Not that it's happening to you, you are happening to it.
But that goes away, and then it can come back, and thankfully it has come back for me, because I lost that
to teach you a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. And exactly that. And I wouldn't be where I am.
I feel you on that.
And it's I'm excited about this next chapter, because I feel the change. I've been stuck in a moment for years, and it does take
I can feel the purge of your life of all the toxicity that you don't carry anymore. Yeah. Do you want to know why? Why? Because I think your back doesn't hurt anymore.
It doesn't. But I did have an operation. But no, it doesn't.
But I mean, that's funny because, the lower back is a sign of,
absolutely.
A lot of stress and anxiety.
I have no doubt. Yeah. Yeah. But it's, there's a lot to be grateful for and a lot to look forward to.
What is your process on being grateful? Because I know some people like pray, some people meditate, some people, because I think that's a big part of it.
I talk to the universe out loud. When I walk my dog, and people probably think I'm crazy because they can see me just talking out loud to myself. And
it's okay.
I lost that. I did that a lot when I was younger. I was very in tune. Like when I was a teenager, even younger, I would freak my brother out because I would say, "Oh shit, this is what's going to happen," and sure enough, it would happen. And he would be like, "What the fuck, man?"
What would be the feeling behind saying that? Because I hear that when you say something and you see it and you attach a certain feeling, you ignite it like a fire.
Yeah, it was. So I remember it was just a sense, and it not negative or bad things. Like and some were bigger, some were smaller, and some were a little like. Yeah, that we wish that didn't happen. But I would be able to just feel something. And then I lost all of that.
What are you sensing about the podcast?
It is going to be huge.
Oh, my God. Just like your paychecks with the TV show. So it's good. All right, man. Before we let you off the hook here, I want to know your pet peeves. Like, what just drives you up the wall, dude?
Honesty and bullshitting like that. I've gotten to a point where I know if someone's bullshitting me, and I can't deal with it anymore. Right. So I'll be like, done, see ya. Yeah. Like that's one of the hugest pet peeves. A smaller pet peeve is someone scraping their fork on their teeth when they're eating.
Really?
Yeah, pet peeve.
Really?
Can't do it. I'll get up and walk away. I had to.
Really?
Yeah, to me, I can do nails on a chalkboard. I can't do metal on teeth.
I thought it'd be somebody that's auditioning for you and it's bad.
No, I like that.
You like bad auditions?
Are you kidding me?
I like bad auditions.
Man, I've kept some of those bad auditions because I look at them, they make me laugh so hard. I love it. No, bad auditions. We didn't talk about that, because I know we're
no. Feel free.
But
I think
we're that I cast commercials as well. I'm part of putting those together, and it's a joy to see people get it right and people get it wrong, because that in itself is like being in a class. Because you can see on camera, and I'm directing them.
You did cast 6 of my actors that were working with me in a commercial.
I haven't seen a percentage of that yet, by the way.
Oh, you haven't?
No, you guys need to give that to me.
Did you cast them because they were from my
Not
group?
Not at all. No, it wasn't up to me. There's producers on board. You recommend and you give them the good ones. But my pet peeve when I'm casting is if I do an explanation and I'm very thorough and I'm like, are there any questions? And there's no questions, and then they come in and don't do a single thing you've asked them to do. That's a pet peeve for me, because I'm like, why did I just waste my time?
That sounds like a handful of people I know.
There's a lot of that, and it's like, why are you doing this job if you can't
follow directions?
Yeah, if you can't listen and you can't, that's definitely a pet peeve.
Right.
It's like, in this, and working with people that just don't do the work, and it's like, why are you doing this job, getting paid for it, and not putting in the work?
Yeah, it's a little irritating when you find somebody that has a ton of success, and they're just so
phoning it in.
Yeah, it's just like,
what are you doing? That to me, I was like, well, they're obviously good enough to be where they, and maybe they've just become more jaded. It's more of the youngsters coming up that aren't doing the work.
Right.
And that would be one of my pet peeves. It's more than the guys that have found success already. It's those youngsters coming up who think they can just...
Well, let me tell you something. If you're not in a class, nobody will teach you more than life.
Yeah.
Life will always teach you the best, I think.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, we got to go. But Ian, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been a blast.
All right. Catch you guys later on the next pod.